Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today and taking time out of your busy day to hear us talk about the secrets of supercharged recruiting and how to be one of those teams. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm Sally Hartnell. I'm Director of Product Marketing at Phenom. I've been here for just over a year. I focus mostly in the area of talent acquisition, and that means understanding the market, the challenges, and how the Phenom platform solves for those challenges. And one of those, of course, is being a supercharged recruiting team. And speaking of supercharged, let me ask my colleagues to introduce themselves as well, Sebastian and Sakit.
Yeah, thank you, Sally, for the introduction, and great to meet you all here in that webinar. My name is Sebastian. I'm joining from Germany, and I'm with Phenom now for about 2 years, but have been in the video recruiting space for almost 7 to 8 years now, and will introduce you today into one of the aspects of how to speed up your recruiter efficiency, which is video assessments. And with me, it's Sakib.
Yeah, hello everybody. Sakib Nasir. I'm the product director for a couple of Phenom products, one of which we're going to highlight today, AI scheduling. I've been with Phenom for a little bit over a year, but that's a great experience so far, and great to showcase scheduling here today and recruiter efficiency for that matter.
Great. Well, thanks. Why don't we get started? In case some of you are new to Phenom today, let me just introduce Phenom. We are a global HR technology company, and we have the purpose of helping 1 billion people find the right job. We do that through our AI-powered platform known as the Phenom Intelligent Talent Experience platform. And what it does is seamlessly connect candidates, employees, recruiters, hiring managers, and HR teams. We're very proud to have more than 500 diverse companies around the world trust Phenom for their talent acquisition and talent management needs. We're headquartered just outside of Philadelphia in Ambler, Pennsylvania, and we also have offices in India, Israel, the Netherlands, Germany, and the UK. Today, what we're going to talk about is recruiter efficiency and who the stakeholders are. We'll take a look at the role of artificial intelligence and automation in accelerating some of the processes around candidate screening and interview scheduling. We'll present to you some real results from Phenom customers that really drive home the business impact of embracing these kind of solutions. And we'll give you some resources to help you get started to get the same kind of results. So, recruiter efficiency, there's a lot to consider when looking at who cares. And by that, I mean, who are the stakeholders? And also keep in mind that when we talk about recruiter efficiency, we're not just talking about the recruiters as individuals. It's the processes and the workflows that are used and involved that make up recruiter efficiency. So, stepping back for just a minute. Phenom has been in the HR technology space for over 11 years. We've onboarded more than 500 companies around the world, and this has given us the opportunity to speak with hundreds upon hundreds of chief HR officers. And based on that level of experience and those many conversations, we've observed and really concluded that the way that winning companies are approaching talent has fundamentally changed, and in reality is still changing. Between increasing talent demands and recruiter shortages, and certainly the unknown economic and labor markets right now, companies are challenged to fill their open roles quickly, and they have to satisfy many stakeholders. So Whether the focus is on high volume hiring or a much smaller hiring plan, reducing the inefficiencies should still be a priority for talent acquisition teams that are trying to overcome these challenges. I mean, recruiters and hiring managers every day struggle with task after task, ranging from candidate sourcing, candidate screening, interview scheduling, conducting interviews and getting that intelligence, as well as providing feedback. And it's cumbersome. And so we know that certainly recruiters care. And we know that hiring managers care when answering that question of who cares about recruiter efficiency. And who else cares is the candidates. Candidate expectations continue to be shaped by their experience as consumers, and they've come to expect fast, easy digital interactions. And I know it's true for me, and I think it's true generally that people tend to move on when they're met with unfriendly online experiences. It's also really important to remember that candidates are greatly impacted by recruiter efficiency because recruiters are the front line to job seekers coming to your website, to your career site, and looking at your jobs and your company. So the recruiters can make or break a candidate experience. And when you have recruiting teams that are drowning in mundane repetitive tasks, then really you have recruiting teams that don't have a lot of ability to focus on building and nurturing relationships. And at the same time, it's not just about hiring faster, it's about hiring the right talent. So it's both speed, how fast you're going, but also velocity, which means what direction are you going. So these talent shortages and limited resources are forcing companies to move fast, but it's important to move fast and in the right direction, and then lowering costs through greater efficiencies as you do so. And it makes sense that hiring teams and recruiters can't adapt to this kind of change using the old tools, or in many cases, using no tools itself and doing things manually. And this is just fraught with problems. Not only is it very time consuming, but on the candidate screening side, it's subject to bias and really is simply not scalable. I saw an article, it was around the end of last year in Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, and it said that the amount it costs to bring in a new employee is at an all-time high while in the midst of a tight labor market, and that completing a job search, recruiters are saying it takes on average 32 to 68 jobs. That's quite a variance, but it really depends on the level of a job. But either way, 32 to 68 days is a long time to bring in a new employee. Likewise, on the interview scheduling side, again, this is fraught with problems. It's extremely time consuming, can be error prone, tends to be highly manual. Last year, I did a webinar just on this topic on interview scheduling and rescheduling, as the case usually is, and found some research that said recruiters spend 2/3 of their overall hiring time on the interview process. And I find that mind-boggling, just given my own experience as someone who tries to pull meetings together with a few people. It's hard. I think if I had to spend 2/3 of my overall work time just trying to schedule meetings, I would lose my mind. So in any case, these are old tools and they're not effective. So I mentioned at the start of the call that we have a purpose at Phenom of helping 1 billion people find the right job. We do that through our Intelligent Talent Experience platform. And we'll take a closer look at the platform as we go today. But at a high level, our platform uses AI to personalize and automate the talent journey for all the stakeholders. That's candidates and recruiters, employees, management, and HR. And if you think about it, by their very nature, these journeys are connected. And our platform was designed and built for those connected journeys and really embraces that. So today we're going to focus on recruiter efficiency. specifically in two areas where there's the greatest opportunity to improve efficiencies. Those are the areas of candidate screening and interview scheduling. And as we saw earlier, improving efficiencies not only improves the recruiter experience, but all of these connected experiences. So at Phenom, we like to say that Phenom helps recruiters become wildly or insanely productive. And that's really because our recruiter experience has the tools that puts a lot of tedious, repetitive tasks on autopilot. We're going to be looking at those today, as mentioned, and I think it's helpful to understand that central to our recruiter experience is the Phenom CRM, our candidate relationship management tool. This integrates with more than 70 applicant tracking systems with bidirectional sync in many cases, particularly Workday. And the CRM comes out of the box with a recruiter dashboard that is where our recruiters get access to the video screening tool you're going to be hearing about and the interview scheduling tool that you're going to be hearing about. They're both built into the CRM. And when a recruiter logs into that recruiter dashboard, each time they're presented with a big overview of here are my open recs, here are my new leads, here are the applicants, here are my campaigns, and then they have access to these tools as a way to increase that efficiency. So with that, we're going to start by taking a look at the use of video assessments for accelerating candidate screening. And I'll hand it to you, Sebastian.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Sally. And as Sally said, right, once you have an organization for a particular job, you've got dozens or hundreds or even thousands of candidates. It's really a big challenge. How do you identify out of this large pool of applicants? How do you identify the top talents that you actually want to invite to a real interview? And with video assessments, or other terms that are used on the market, automated interviews or on-demand video interviews, this screening solution will really help you to accelerate and scale your hiring process, because instead of just having a bunch of CVs and cover letters, you will actually get to know the candidates in a very authentic and personal manner. And because all your candidates, instead of just sharing their CVs and cover letters, they will answer you the same set of questions that you as an organization predefine. And all of them will answer you these questions in a similar way, and you can easily identify who are the top talents that you now want to invite to the actual interview. And while phone screens or the regular screening process might be biased, the benefit about video assessments or video interviews is really the team can collaborate, and it's a collective decision who are the ones that we want to move forward. And in addition, it's highly standardized, and how this is all integrated into the system and how video assessments can be used for high volume positions, but also for young talent recruiting and knowledge workers, we will actually see directly in the system. So I'm going to show you how all this is tightly connected within our recruiter experience, guide you through the candidate experience so that you also see how easy it is for candidates to take a video assessment or take even audio assessment. And then the recruiters on the other side and the hiring team can collaborate and make the decision who are the ones that we then hand over to Saqib to actually schedule the interview and make sure only the top ones are interviewed by the hiring managers. And for all this, I will share my screen, which you should see now. And so where we're going to start off is directly in the CRM. And the starting point for a video assessment is that you actually need to figure out what are the questions that you want to ask your candidates in a very standardized way. And what we see here is our questionnaire generator, which is kind of the first step that you will need to take. And this can be very individual based on the different positions you have. One thing that is highly important and something that companies often ask us and recruiters often ask us, don't you lose some kind of a personal connection to the candidates? And that's very important here. So as part of the video assessment questionnaire, you will be able to define introduction videos. You will be able to identify or upload closing videos. And also each question itself can directly present it in a video. So it looks very authentic, and very personal for the candidate as well. And in addition to this, a video assessment does not only consist of video questions, you can also ask multiple choice questions. You can also ask text questions. These questions can be automatically ranked. So it's really a combination. You can make sure that the candidates only have to take one step after they applied, and you get all the information that you need to make the final decision, which are the candidates that you want to take. And once this questionnaire is assigned, in the CM, it's super simple and super easy to kind of invite the candidates. And that's the beauty of having everything in one single platform. So I'm now on a dedicated requisition where the candidates are already pulled in. And here you have multiple ways to invite. So if you are more in a knowledge worker position or area, and you want to specifically invite certain candidates, you can easily select the candidate here, invite this candidate to a video assessment, select a template, invite this candidate via email, via SMS. Everything is fairly simple, and you just click next on the candidate is immediately invited. On the other side, if you are hiring high volume positions, this can be a lot simpler. So what the Phenom RX and CRM actually allows you is to build powerful automations that if a candidate moves into a dedicated hiring status, or the candidate applies, meets some initial requirements, and then you say, okay, a couple of hours later, I now want to invite this candidate to a video assessment. All these automation recipes can be created, and you as a recruiter, you don't have to do anything to just wait until your candidate submits the videos, and you actually get the personal impression and don't waste your time on impersonal screening. So that's what I just did. I invited Samantha Rodriguez to the video interview or video assessment. We will now see that the invitation has been sent. It has been sent via email in this case, and now I will take over the position of a candidate and quickly show you how the candidate experience looks like. And here we come to an additional benefit of Phenom and the TXM. So Phenom is one of the very only one of the only solutions that will actually host the entire candidate experience on your career site. So the candidate comes onto the landing page and then gets to see, okay, what is a video assessment and how does it work? First of all, you will be able to present yourself and give the candidate kind of a quick introduction of what they have to do, what are some tips and tricks, and all this again can be highly personalized. And then the candidate can decide how to take the video assessment. Very important, they can take whatever device, they can take the web browser, using a mobile browser, using a desktop browser, or we also have 2 dedicated Phenom video apps. And you might not believe it, but actually candidates really appreciate taking a mobile app for this. So we have 50% of the candidates downloading it and taking the assessment, and the candidate experience and the candidate rating is really phenomenal here. And in addition, what is very important to the candidate experience, whenever there's a question, we have a dedicated live support that will actually help your candidates immediately. And we from Phenom, we will make sure that your candidates have all their questions immediately answered. And you don't have to worry about anything. And you as a recruiter, you can really focus on doing your job and not supporting candidates and asking and answering repeated questions all over every single day. I will actually now start the experience on the browser. Once I click on start, I simply have to accept the privacy regulations, and now I'm already in the process. Here we have another possibility for you to make this very authentic. There's a couple of tutorial videos. There's a testing mode, so you can really ensure your candidate knows how to do it, and they are well prepared before starting the assessment. Now, I don't want to practice because I've done it a couple of times already, and now I see I have to answer 4 questions. So there's 2 video questions. I have 3 attempts to answer those, and I also have a multiple choice and a text question. Once I click on start, this question will be presented by the hiring manager in this case, so I can see how the question is presented. If I want to start immediately, I'm now in the process. So I have 30 seconds to, first of all, I will see the question for the first time. I now have 30 seconds to prepare myself. If I'm already familiar and I know what I want to say, I click on the red dot, and in 3 seconds, I'm about to answer this question. So why do I want to join Phenom? I heard that Phenom is a great HR tech company. I'm in the video recruiting space for years, and I would love to kind of bring this technology to the people and to the millions of candidates in the world. and really excited to join this organization. If I'm not happy with this kind of answer, I could retake it, or I say I'm totally fine, I save it. I do the same with the second question, which I will skip through very quickly. So here the same approach. And as you see, it's super simple. It's a very great user experience. And the feedback that we get from candidates and also our customers get from candidates is really phenomenal here. And once the video questions are answered, you will get to answer the text questions, where I will quickly just type text, a test, and then in this case, some multiple choice questions, which I will answer. And very important, these questions, we will have knockout questions. So for high volume use cases, you can also have knockout questions here. You can auto score these questions. And for whichever use case you need this, it can be highly customized. Now I click on submit and the candidate is already completed. And as you see, it doesn't take more than 5 minutes. It's fairly simple. And now once the assessment is uploaded, it will appear in the CRM. And now the recruiter can actually look at this interview and give their feedback and also share it with the hiring team. So we already have, here we actually see it already. So the assessment is uploaded now. I can watch the video myself, give ratings here, and see also the answers to the multiple choice and text questions. Very important, and that's where video assessment is so powerful. What we set up now, that this video is automatically shared with the hiring team. And that's what Sally showed in the beginning. We have RX for the recruiters, but we also have MX for the managers, the manager experience. And what happened now, the hiring manager actually already got this interview shared and can also, that's a different candidate I shared before, but I can, now we see it. So I immediately get access to this interview. I will click on evaluate, and then the hiring manager can also provide feedback immediately. And the recruiter doesn't have to do anything. It's really completely automated. And you as a team can now decide, okay, this candidate, that's a 5-star, that's a 5-star. I certainly want to invite this candidate to the real interview. And that's how having everything in one single platform really makes your life as a recruiting team and as a hiring team so simple. And what we already see in the market, and I will stop sharing now, what we already see in the market and with all our customers is that there's a tremendous success in hours saved within different recruiting teams that we see here. And you will see the numbers in a second, but when you look at this here, the customers that we have, they saw tremendous success and efficiency gains by just using video assessments. And what are the reasons for this? I showed you the automation. So there's, for instance, the supermarket chain. What they did, they invited 24,000 candidates to the video assessment, highly automated. So the candidates applied, they automated candidates that reached a certain fit score, and then 6 hours later, they send out the invitation. And because it's so, there's a time delay, candidates actually believe that this was done by a recruiter. So you can really personalize this process, and this saves the recruiters hours and thousands of hours. On the other side, where video assessment really is powerful to reduce and to replace phone screens. So whenever you use phone screens, forget about this and start using video interviews, because you don't have to schedule these calls. It's not only one by one person, multiple people can collaborate and work together. And that's the beauty of video interviews. And when we look at the entire process now of what have I shown you so far, we see that we set up the questionnaire, we invited candidates, the candidate completed the assessment, and now the hiring team gave their feedback. And if I click on the screen before, save my evaluation, we would directly be able to schedule the interview. And that's why I'm looking forward to introduce you to Saqib to show you how the entire story continues here.
Thank you, Sebastian. So you saw how efficiently we can move candidates and really delight them in a really user experience that is intuitive, right? Even from a recruiter efficiency perspective, you can reach the top talent in a matter of minutes. From AI scheduling perspective, I think it's undersold that the user experience when it comes to candidate experience is amazing. So they really are met with a concierge when it comes to AI scheduling. The AI aspect of things is your virtual assistant that is walking you through the scheduling experience when it comes to candidate, right? And identifies, hey, if you want to reschedule, no problem. If you want to go ahead and reschedule to a time that is not accessible by the interviewer, it will do the negotiation on your behalf. So it really is a delightful experience when it comes to job seekers. Again, from a recruiter efficiency perspective, Sebastian just showed you that a lot of this can be automated, and a lot of this we can take the repetitive tasks of looking at calendars of the appropriate interviewers. You can actually automate a lot of it. So without further ado, I'm going to go into the experience and share my screen. And I'm basically picking up where Sebastian left off, right? So I'm going to use a different candidate though, but really the idea is that you automated a lot of the video assessment aspect of things. The hiring manager gave their okay, which then updated the appropriate hiring status. I'm going to use this person, this candidate that I use a lot, Shekhar Dhawan, and the appropriate hiring status got updated to invite for interview. At that point, the appropriate automation sent out an invitation to the candidate, in this case, Shekhar Dhawan, and it sent out, hey, let's get you scheduled for an interview, right? So the idea is that there's an automated email that goes out. I'm your virtual assistant at Phenomenal or any other client. So you can really personalize the experience. You can add your branding, add the appropriate videos that you want to include into the appropriate emails that go out. And then from here, the candidate is able to engage via this particular live link and go into the experience where they are pulling up the availability of the interviewers, and we're presenting them in a more intuitive way. And they select the appropriate time, confirm it, and there you have it. You have a candidate that is now scheduled for an interview. And if I go back into the CRM experience and I go into Shekhar's profile, I now see that they are now scheduled for an interview. Now, touch upon a little bit around recruiter efficiency, right? So there is the whole aspect of visibility into where my interview or where my interviews are or where my candidates are. So what we've done is we've developed this recruiter dashboard where I come into this experience and I am able to see all of my interviews, where my candidates are, the appropriate status is. So I see Shekhar has 2 upcoming interviews. I have pending interviews, interviews that have been completed, interviews that have been canceled or expired, or any actions I need to take, right? So really taking the visibility to the next level where nothing is missed or no candidate falls through the crack, right? That's the idea, to a point where I'm able to view all of the activity going on for a single interviewer, for that matter, right? And then just really touch upon it. So when we say it's all AI driven, all automated, but you have the control, you have the view into the whole thread of messages going back and forth with the candidate, right? So really, it is not a black box, right? I want to touch upon, so this is one aspect of things. So these are my interviews. We've also heard from our existing clients that, hey, I want to view into all of the interviews that are being conducted by everybody throughout the organization. And this is where we have created this all interview activities view within CRM, and you have the ability to slice and dice the information. So one thing we always hear from a use case perspective is, hey, if Saqib as the recruiter goes out and Sebastian needs to take his place, Sebastian can just go ahead and search, as the requester would be me, and I have the ability to save that view, and all of the interviews that have been scheduled by Saqib goes through, and Sebastian can now shepherd these interviews accordingly, right? So again, no candidate left behind, right? So going into the experience, right? So we have created a brand new experience when it comes to scheduling more recently. So the idea is, this is where, again, if I needed to, I can actually select multiple candidates and go through that experience. So I can select, and then initiate the interview if I wanted to manually do this experience. Really, again, any user can come into this view. The idea is that they understand, once they arrive into this view, they understand what they are going to be scheduling, whether it's a single interview, multiple interviews with back-to-back sessions or stages, or interview events. You're able to do that very quickly. Then also, from a recruiter efficiency perspective, you as an organization can create global templates. So if your process is that there's always an online interview or a phone interview with the hiring manager, you have the ability to kind of save these templates, and really quickly the recruiter can come into this experience, click here, identify the appropriate interviewer. All of the information is saved, that it's a phone interview for 30 minutes. I can click next, and candidate phone number is not there, my apologies. And I can click here, one sec. I think it's Marcus who doesn't have a phone number attached, but I'll go through this experience. I can click here, identify the appropriate interviewer, and then move on and send out the invitation. It's as quick as that, right? And as easy as that. So again, I'll go back into the experience one more time. I know there are scenarios where companies have to have back-to-back interviews. It's really simple to set up those back-to-back interviews as well, where you identify, let's say it's a hiring day event. At that point, you're inviting the appropriate, in this case, Shekhar, to a hiring manager interview, which is Saqib. Do it on site for 30 minutes, save that. I'm able to add additional interviews. So this could be the panel interview. And I can add Sebastian. Sebastian doesn't have it. I'm going to add Evan. I'm going to add Tim. Again, it's an on-site interview in Philadelphia for 30 minutes, and save here. So I really have the flexibility of adding multiple interviews, and then if needed, any breaks in the middle, right? So let's say it's a coffee break, and send out the invitation as simply as that. Now, one additional thing that we have included here from a visibility perspective, again, is the view, hey, you're able to engage your candidate as quickly as one day, or if you want to adjust the timing, hey, they're available, or you want to expand the availability, you can expand it to 30 days as well. But really, the idea is, from a visibility perspective, we are showing you what each individual interviewer's calendars look like, or what their availability looks like, right? So what you're looking at it here is myself, as well as Evan and Tim's calendar availability, where we are available. So these time slots that you see where with yellow outline are slots that where I have meeting, or Evan may have meeting, or Tim may have meeting. But these open slots are available as well. So the recruiter, from recruiter perspective, they can really be empowered to select the appropriate slot. So let's say they have already negotiated with Saqib, hey, I'm available from 12:15 to 1:30, and they have negotiated with the appropriate interviewers. They can select and override if need be, because the candidate may be available only at that time. So really providing the flexibility there for the recruiter. And then from here, I can just preview the invitation that's going to go out to the candidate, and then send out the invitation. Again, it's as simple as that. And then from candidate perspective, going back to it, right? They will see the appropriate invitation come through, and then from a confirmation perspective, they will again see the appropriate information come through, as well as if they needed to reschedule or cancel for that matter. That happens all the time as well. They have the ability to go back to the same live link, and then we'll pull the appropriate availability again and show them the up-to-date information that way. Now, one last thing before I turn it over, from an interviewer perspective, in this case, I am the interviewer. My apologies for the messy inbox, but from an interviewer perspective, the interviewer also gets an invitation. So I, as an interviewer, have the ability to say, yes, I am available at that time. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to add it to my calendar. All of the candidate's information is embedded in this experience where the interview is going to take place. This was a phone interview. When the interview is going to take place, and then this experience, as Sebastian was also identifying, right? The hiring manager application experience, which comes bundled with both video as well as scheduling experience. I'm able to click on that link and go to the profile of the candidate, in this case, Shekhar Dhawan. Any attachments that existed, in this case, this person does not have a resume or any other attachments. I would be able to see those attachments. And then lastly, I have the ability to provide the evaluation, and this evaluation form is totally customizable by the organization, and I can provide my evaluation. Hey, it's from a 1 to 5 scale. I provide 4, and then recommendation. Yes, I do recommend them. And then you can provide additional aspect of things, and then you can add your own notes to it. Once submitted, you can set up the appropriate automations to send out the notification to the recruiter. So all of this information, really, the power of the platform is playing a role here, right? So there's one ecosystem where both the recruiter and the interviewer are sharing information seamlessly back and forth. So that is what the hiring manager experience looks like. And lastly, if for whatever reason the interviewer was not available at this time, they can simply say, no, I'm not going to be able to make it. And then from an AI and automation perspective, we will go back to the candidate and ask them to reschedule or select another time. So those automations also are playing a role, and artificial intelligence aspects of things, where the candidate may say, hey, I can't make this time still. Now we would come back and do the negotiation on behalf of the candidate. So it's a really powerful tool. Again, from a candidate experience perspective, it provides the optimal experience. In addition to that, really playing a big role in recruiter efficiency. So there you have it. That's the play around AI scheduling. We're making updates all the time, making our tool better and efficiency for the recruiter. But hope you enjoyed the demo.
Thanks, Sakib. I think you were going to share some of these fantastic results.
Fantastic results, absolutely. So from, as Sebastian touched upon it, from a video perspective, we also saw some really great results last year. I'm going to highlight the major transportation company that saw some really good results, and really a powerful testament of their strength as well. They were able to actually do a lot of campaigning and push this tool out to the recruiters. So they saw over 22,000 hours were saved. And a lot of these more simple phone screens or one-on-one interviews, they were really able to automate a lot of that. So that's the gain that they saw. And again, from a major bank perspective, 9,500 hours were saved. So really good results. We're actually seeing even better results because we were just able to bring in the hiring status automation into the play. So even those interviews that got manually selected then are getting automated. So we see good results or better results from last year. So there you have it.
I thought it would be interesting to put those kind of numbers in perspective, like 22,350 hours sounds like a lot of hours. And what is that in days? So assuming 8 hours in a day, that is more than 931 days. So keep in mind that these results were achieved in the first year of using AI scheduling. So that company, that transportation company that you highlighted there, saved over 931 days of time. And so if you think of that, every year, the number of business days in a year, it varies a little depending on what day of the week holidays fall. But by and large, it's around 260 business days in a year, except for Sebastian, because I think you get more in Germany. But let's just go with the 260 business days, which is what there are in 2023. So those number of hours, that equates to more than 3.5 years of recruiter time saved in a year. And I look at that and I'm like, who wouldn't do this? It's amazing to me, and I think it's great that we can tell others about these kind of results that we get. So thank you both. Before we take any questions, if we have any, which you can put into the comments section now, let's just for a moment take a look at the Intelligent Talent Experience platform. We've been looking very closely at the tools within Recruiter Experience, and that is what Sebastian and Saqib shared with you. And this is just part of these comprehensive set of products and functionalities that are available in our talent platform. This engages individuals and candidates both internally and externally. So that's important to realize as well. The platform includes tools and intelligent workflows for candidate experience, employee experience, recruiter experience, HR experience, and manager experience. So we really just today only had the opportunity to look at a couple of these things within one experience. As you can see, it's quite comprehensive. The best way to learn more about what you heard today about video assessments and AI scheduling, or any of the capabilities that you see represented here, is to join us at the end of March. I believe it's our 4th annual. This is our I Am Phenom conference. It's an in-person event happening in Philadelphia. Over the course of a couple of days, there will be more than 60 sessions and breakouts. There will be roughly 100 speakers. You'll have the opportunity to hear from industry experts and analysts. Some of our Phenom customers are going to tell you their experience and results, and a lot of Phenom subject matter experts. So please go to the URL that you see there, iamphenom.com. You'll learn more about this event, and you can register there as well. So I'm looking in the comments section, and I am not seeing any questions at the moment. I hope that that means that we hit the mark in answering the questions that you had about how to achieve greater efficiency, supercharged recruiter efficiency. Some of the ways to get started, the best ways to come to I Am Phenom. I think you will also have access to this deck available. And that is the end of what we have to talk about today. I, again, want to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy day. Thank you to Sebastian and Saqib as well. And I hope everyone has a fantastic afternoon.